Oh, I made it. I made it. I'm here. I'm glad. Thank you, brother, for joining me, Elijah. Flips, brother. Thank you, brother, for joining me. My name is Jaquab Ben Israel. This is my channel where I try to minister to the children of the Creator, whom the world calls the Heavenly Father, the Most High, God even. I am a faithist. We're called faithists. And this is a channel where I try to minister to brethren who are like-minded. I want to thank you for joining me, my channel. And I want to give thanks to the Creator for giving me this opportunity to try to be a light while I'm in this reality. Now, I should start off by saying that I'm going to go ahead and check myself into the hospital sometime this week, probably Friday. And so I don't know if they're going to keep me. I don't know how. I expect them to check me out. You know, I've been having a problem with my feet, and I know that my kidneys need to be checked out. And so I don't know if they will end up keeping me there for a spell or I don't know. So there may be an interruption in my channel so far as for videos. I just want to let anybody know so that you can know what's going on. If you come looking for my channel and it's not up or no videos, I'm not putting up any videos, it's going to be because I'm checked into the hospital. I'm going to get myself checked out. And I expect them probably to hold me over and until they can do a thorough examination or whatever they do, medical examination. So I'm probably looking at Friday going in. So you may not see my videos. Again, I don't know if they will. The last couple of times I had to go in, I had to stay for like a couple of months. So I don't know what the situation is going to be. I'll find out Friday. And so just to let anybody know that if you come on my channel and you don't see my videos up, then it's because I'm still checked into the hospital. So I'll be reminding you, brethren, until I expect to go in Friday. I don't think it's anything major, but my body is sending me signals that I should get myself looked at. That's the situation. So I don't want to alarm anybody. It's just as you get older, things need to be looked after more frequently, if you know what I mean. So just to let you know, no need for alarm or anything like that. It's just something that I've been putting off for a long time, and I think it's time for me to go ahead and get the situation looked at. So again, thank you for joining me. I want to give thanks to the Heavenly Father, the Creator, for giving me this opportunity to try to be a light, to try to minister, to try to redeem the time. Pretty sure all will be okay, Fritz. Thank you for your sentiments. For giving me the opportunity to have this channel to talk to you, brethren, in an effort for us to be able to have a place where you can go, where you can talk and share with other brethren. In this day and age, I can't stress how important enough that we have opportunity to get together with one another, talk our own language, build each other up, that sort of thing. I know that the creator, that's his will. So I'm just a little cog in the machine to try to do my part. And this is the thrill of my week, talking with you brethren, doing these videos, reading the word, reading the OAHSPE. I want to share a little something, you know. Now, I've been talking about the home care lady that comes in, and she taught me a lesson today. She taught me a lesson. She taught me a good lesson. And when I believe that Creator has given me something that I can share with you, brethren, I love to do it. I love to do it because I think that he gives us people so that we can look and learn a lesson, so that we can compare what the Creator says and what people do. And the glory of the Creator is he just tells you all about people. He tells you about the inside of people. He tells you about what type of vibration people are under. I read something the other day about the Osirian fields, which is the world of materialism, and then the Hayden fields. Matter of fact, let me bring it up real quick. Here's my food ministry. I try to target orphans, disabled, and elderly. My contact information, my room on Facebook. Well, let me see if I can find that real quick. I was reading last night, and it talks about the Hayden fields and the Orion fields. And one has to do with materialism, and the other one has to do with the earthly reality, one way or another. Let me read it. Let me see if I can find it. Matter of fact, what I could do, I go looking for it on the Facebook page. Might take me a while to find it. So let me do a quick word search. And it's just something I never knew before. I never saw the Hayden and the Osirian fields before. And it's only mentioned a couple of times. And I thought it was, be interesting to look at, because the creator, there it is. Okay. So the creator, he talks about materialism in the OAHSPE. He talks about he knows what's going on, the spiritual realm on the earth, and how the scripture, the creator, his false gods, how they merchandise the word of the creator for their own benefit. And nobody's getting away with anything. And it just astounds me that, we live in a reality that's amazing. I read something the other day where it said that we've been turned into robots in the OAHSPE. Let me see. Here it says, let me see. The Hayden fields. Let me see. Now, there's this footnote that I'm looking for where it explains the Hayden fields and the Osirian fields. So here it is right here. Hope you can see that okay. The Hayden fields and the Osirian fields. You brethren probably already know these things. Osirian field, here as elsewhere, to mean materialism, or that material philosophy which maintains that materiality rules over spirit and not spirit over matter. Hayden field here seems to mean spirit world without a great spirit or all person. In other words, first resurrection, the Hayden fields. So you got the material, the realm of the material, and you got the realm of the spiritual without the great spirit, describing the reality on earth. The materialism, the philosophy of the world is materialism, is carnality. And I just thought this was interesting. Let me read what the OAHSPE had to say about the Osirian field. It says, let him who is falsely crowned Osiris build in the Osirian field. So jumping into the middle of this account right here, it's going to go into one of the false gods. Going to go into one of the false gods. Let me pick up on it again. It says, let him who is falsely crowned Osiris build in the Osirian field. That's the field, that's the earth of materialism. It says, let him who is falsely crowned Osiris. And see, I'm just bringing it out because we as a society, we are nothing if not materialistic. And for me, it just really blesses my soul to see that the creator, he can speak contemporaneously with his word. And he can speak in our modern day. He can speak in our modern day, present day situations, because that's just what we are. We are an Osirian field filled with materialism. It says, let him who is falsely crowned. now is jumping, is really getting on the false gods. Let him who is falsely crowned Osiris build in the Osirian field, and him who is proclaimed Deus, deity, build in the Hayden field. So you got the earth and you got the spirit. It says, for the time shall come when these testimonies shall be required in the sum of the earth and heaven. So the Creator is saying that he's going to use the kingdom that man's built against himself. Going to let him build it, then going to turn around and make it be a witness against his trying to give himself glory that only belongs to the Creator. And I'm telling you, that's one thing. Now, getting back to the home care lady, I wanted to share a quick lesson about what I'm learning from her. She's got her own mind, and she can make a judgment. And she's like a lot of people, but she cannot, the word of the Creator, what we are experiencing right now, you brethren, it cannot resonate with her. It will not resonate. It can only go skin deep. She can hear what's being said, but she cannot resonate. You know what I mean? If you the world is filled with people like her. I commend her for her ability to listen to information and then to internalize it and to make a discernment, make a judgment. In other words, she's still got her mind. Most of the world, their critical thinking has been taken away, but it does not resonate with her. And to see it, to look at it, is an amazing thing to me. It don't resonate with her, meaning it don't sink in. She was asking me about, well, what's the importance of this right here? What's the importance of the OAHSPE Bible? What is it, And I'd already told her. But she couldn't hear me. And so I told her again, I said, the OAHSPE is really for people who they know that they place great importance on their spiritual self, They know that where we are right now is not all that there is. And we just have it in our spirit. We prepare ourselves. We know that the eternal is a lot, or you know what I mean? I just went in that direction. I just made sense. I just, threw a bunch of logic at her and she heard everything, but it didn't resonate. It didn't arrest her. Like it should make a person say, hey, wait a minute, man. You're talking pretty heavy here. You're talking about something that applies to all of us. Now I want to know, you know what I mean? Make you stop and what are you talking about, man? Because I know that this applies to me. Are you telling me something that applies to my family? Maybe it's something that I share with my loved ones. You know where I'm coming from? But it don't resonate with her. She's like a lot of people. I commend her for her ability to assimilate information and make a judgment. But it don't sink in. That's what separates a faithist from an Uzzian. It don't sink in with an Uzzian. Now, for you, it may be nothing at all, I share it because it's a miracle to me. I mean, we each have our own, sense of wonder about things. That's the thing for me that I just find myself continually shaking my head is the mystery of ignorance and unbelief. And so when I see people and their inability to really at least question what's being said about the Creator. She asked me about the Bible. I said, that is not the Creator's book. That right there should have made her drop dead right there. I said, it was one of two options. People hear you say that, they think you're crazy and you're not worthy to be listened to. Or if they, hold on a second. Hey, hey, I can hear you. I'm doing a video. I can hear you. Sorry about that, brother. Sorry about that, brother. Somebody was outside talking outside of my apartment, but I'm just sharing that so that when not to sound judgmental, but people are a great benefit for faithists because you can see what I don't want to put any I don't want to what's a good word for make somebody sound less or make them look, unfortunate, or I don't want to make people look bad. But there's a spiritual dynamic and effect with this word that we read and the thing that we claim we are, which is sons and daughters, according to the Spirit. And it's the most important thing in this reality. We're looking at a reality where people, they have absolutely no desire, have no they have no ability to receive this word. And you would think at a time like this, where if anything, people need a good foundation, because you look around. I like to watch the news. I like to be aware. I like to look and, see what's going on. And I take note of my own reality, and I look at things like cost of living. I look at families. I look at crime. I look at everything in order to see how the light of the Creator, how it can be shining so brightly, but there is no ability for it to be seen except by certain brethren who have that seed in them. The name of this video is called "The Seed Inherits Everything." And, I read an account where I think it was somebody, I forget who it was. Was it Tay or in the OAHSPE? And he was questioning Jehovah, and he said, well, what about people who don't, it had to do with infants, when infants die. And the conversation went something to the effect of, when infants die, they don't have a chance to experience corporal life. So they were somehow missing out. And the person that was talking to Jehovah said, well, if they needed to experience corporality and they die when they're young, then what happens to them? But then Jehovah said, the inheritance is not by knowledge, it's by seed. Did you hear that? The Creator said that inheritance, it is not according to knowledge. It's by seed, SEED. And one thing that I have noticed is that there is a great, and I read where the OAHSPE, a matter of fact, in the reading, I'm going to be talking about that as well, where the Creator, he says that he condemns men for his pursuit of knowledge to the detriment of his spirituality. He seeks after it. He uses it so that he may be puffed up, so that he may puff himself up in the eyes of his brethren. The Creator, he says that the inheritance, it is not by knowledge, it is by seed. And that's something only you know, whether your faith is skin deep or whether it is bone deep. It's in your bones. Now, again, I don't want to sound like we're better than everybody else, but I'm just trying to share that sons and daughters is way more than skin deep, and it's going to play out the way you deal with your brethren. That's a good way to see whether or not you're within the will of the Creator. is what your brethren, what they may have to say about you. Will they condemn you? Will they praise you? That's how you can know whether the Creator is pleased with the path you're on, or whether you got some work to do. Now, I mean, we all got work to do. But let me go to the other definition here definition real quick of the Hayden and Osirian fields. Okay, this is the last definition. So it's only mentioned 4 times. Darker and darker the Hayden fields palled before the touch of Jehovah's hand. Now remember, the Hayden fields, man. The Hayden fields. That's the field of, I dare to say that's the first resurrection. See the definition here on the screen. Hayden field. The Hayden field here seems to mean spirit world. And without a great spirit are all person. That's what we got right now. We got religion. It has no head. It has no all spirit. It's without the great spirit or all person, and men step in to fill that void gladly, live deliciously. The Hayden field, the Creator calls it, and the Osirian field, the world of materialism. Let him who is falsely crowned Osiris build in the Assyrian field. Let him build. Don't stop him. Let him build. And we look around, we see results. We see religion. We see churches. We see Christianity. We see easy believism. We see deception. The Osirian fields. So it's only mentioned 4 times, and so not much on it, but the fact that the Creator, he shows us that materialism and the first resurrection, really, disunity and chaos, all present, is not the head. So I just thought that was interesting. All right, Eschel, did you see the file? Did you see the file I was trying to tell you about on Brother Omian's room in the OAHSPE College University? Did you see that file? It's called Faithless Offspring. I had no way to share it, so that's why I couldn't share it with you, like give you a link or something. You have to join the room, go to the files, click on it, go to the part that says Faithless Offspring. Just to let you brother know, he inquired about something I was sharing on my page, and it came from a document that somebody wrote. It's not in the OAHSPE, but it's faithful to the OAHSPE. So anyway, my room on Facebook, I got the links for the other brethren in the description box in case anyone wants to join this room or this room, another room, or my room, which is this room. I recommend Brother Omian's room. I recommend this room right here. More people, or make sure that you brother can see my screen telling me I'm not broadcasting. Okay, there we go. So make a note of it. Check this out. Fellowship. I like to try to share things that I read, OAHSPE, bless brethren with. And can you see it? Or is my screen frozen? Is my screen frozen? I think it may be. Let's see. People getting home. Football. Distraction. Okay. So let me just share some things that I've been in my room that I've been posting online. Let's see. Now, here's some things that I've just been posting in the room and in the other rooms too from the OAHSPE. Now, here's something that I thought was pretty interesting. Or actually, this is from the document that Excel that I was sharing with you. This is part of the document that I was telling that you were asking me about. Actually, this is part of the document from the file called Faith This Offspring. Again, so that when you go in the room, locate the files section, click on it, and it'll show you the whole document. Okay, so this says through time. Let me close my blinds. Hold on one second. Okay, now I can read my screen. Now, this is something that I shared from the file that Brother Omian has in his room. It's a document called Faith This Offspring. And here it says, through time, if unchanged, the Druidian spirits sink even deeper in the darkness and death. The higher frequencies from the heavenly realm that keep the spirit alive are too weak to sustain their soul. Receiving no nourishment from above, these spirits engraft themselves on the mortals and live off their substance and life energies. These are known as fetals, vampires. The lore-based nature of man and spirits have 7 characteristics or personalities. These dark realms of influence are known as the tetracts, dark realms of influence, and are responsible for all such evil dispositions in man, the tetracts. On the earth and in the spiritual world, each personality has many levels of identity, from the seemingly harmless to unspeakable depravity. These 7 base personalities are as follows. With a few of their names, they have been known by Dibba. And look at that second word, oh wow. We say, oh wow, all the time. And it's a Hebrew tetrad. Dibba and oh wow. People say that all the time. Oh wow. And it falls under the enticing evil, the tempting evil that men do to one another. Entices you, whatever it is that entices you, it's a Hebrew tetrad. And this reality is nothing if not a Hebrew tetrad, if not Dibba, if not oh wow. Enticing evil. It says that which plays for our attention to draw you away from the light and righteousness. A slandering mind and tongue that reports or tattles of the evils or shortcomings of others. I'm convicted by that. You know, Faith This, we got work to do with tetracts too. At least we know about them. I posted something the other day in the Nag Hammadi. It said, at least when what's a good word that it used for the Nag Hammadi? It said it was talking about the evil inspiration, and it was likened to a body of a man, like When its organs are exposed, then the body is dead. But when the organs are not exposed, then the body is living. So when we learn these things, then the evil is exposed, and then we can begin to dissolve it. A slain, this is a big one right here. This is a big Hebrew. This is a big tetrach right here. Deba. And oh wow. Those are names for Hebrew tetrachs, which means enticing evil. That which plays for our attention to draw you away from the light and righteousness, the slandering mind and tongue that reports or tattles of the evils or shortcomings of others. It is the gossiping darkness, demeaning and destructive, the opposite of good speech and praise, the speech that poisons the mind and the spirit. Now, that's just one of the tetrachs. It comes from this document called Bait This Offspring. Bait This Offspring. And something else. Something that I was sharing, it says, for which reason I, the Lord, by virtue of my own authority and in Jehovah's name, proclaim the light and the darkness of the past. And as I've been exalted by the Father, so too are you all in waiting for your turn in the heavens above to become lords and gods and goddesses. Now, that's something that should make somebody think and shout. Think of that. Just think of that for a second. For which reason I, the Lord, by virtue of my own authority and in Jehovah's name, proclaim the light and the darkness of the past. And as I have been exalted by the Father, so too are you all in waiting. Listen to that. Waiting for your turn in the heavens above to become lords and gods and goddesses. Sound kooky, don't it? Sound kooky in the world. God over there talking about he's going to be God one day. Here it is right here. Ain't that something? Lords and gods and goddesses. And what type of god and goddess would you be when he makes you one? Do you, brother, consider that? Do you think about that? What type of god and goddess will you be? I think we are learning. I think that's why we have the example of fallen gods in the OAHSPE. Okay, my sister here, she posts the metaphysical, or actually, I don't know what this is. Oh, it is the Metaphysical Bible. The metaphysical meaning of sun represents consciousness. Okay, clicks off before I can get to it. Spiritually, the sun is associated with enlightenment and awakening. Oh, too fast. In many traditions, oh shoot, I can't read, it's too fast. The metaphysical meaning of moon is often associated with intuition, emotions, and subconscious. Oh, I can't, it's too fast for me. Okay, anyway, here's another verse I posted. It says, and now when her well-skilled workmen, now this is talking about Sepenta Armage, if I'm not mistaken, from the OAHSPE, her reign, during her reign, is talking to her. I'm jumping in the middle of the thought. Talk about Sepenta Armage, I believe. It says, and now when her, yes, her, a goddess, woman, and now when her well-skilled workmen of tens of thousands of years' experience had saluted and gone on to their respective labors, the chieftainess spoke before the council, saying, because of my ark upon the earth and her heavens, the light of our Father will forever remain with mortals and in the Hayden fields. That's the earth. That's the first resurrection without the all-present, the creator. It's the realm of chaos. It's the realm, it's the first resurrection. And the influence that falls on the earth. This as above, so below, disunity in the atmosphere. and on the earth. The influence even comes on the earth. It says, but behold, even as a young man coming to maturity goes away on his own account, in great hope and self-conceit of his powers to meet many misfortunes and great darkness, so will it be with the earth and her heavens after Speda. That's a cycle of one of the archangels, Speda. Actually, I think we're in, let me see, there's Bond, Speda. I think Speda comes before Bond. So she's saying, or it's saying here that after this period of time, the arc of Speda, and you have to think he's talking about now, it says, because I plant my ark in these heavens and say to its gods, you are free. Behold, there shall arise numerous false gods of great power, and as a young man going forth is pulled up with conceit, puffed up with conceit, so will the atmospheric gods believe that they know all things, and so bring great darkness and misery upon the kingdoms and upon themselves. Happening right now, happening today. That's the kingdom we live in. The false gods, the religion, the leaders, they have great power so that they are able to take away people's critical thinking. That's something I just can't get over. You talk to somebody, you can make a really clear point, but it's unable to register. And that's when you know that you're the creator, that he's given you a spirit to be able to see things that normal person cannot see, hear things that normal person cannot hear. Let him who is falsely crowned Osiris, a false god, build in the Osirian field. How do you like that? The false god Osiris. Permission to build in the Osirian field, where we are. Osirian field, the world of materialism. That's all that there is. I hate to sound negative. That's where we live. We live, everything is all about materialism. It's all about carnality. It's all about look out for number one. The Osirian field, the creator calls it the Osirian field, after the false god who I would have to think helped lay the foundation of where we live today. The Osirian field, the field of materialism and selfishness, and him who is proclaimed deus, deity. Let him who is falsely crowned Osiris build in the Osirian field. Let him prosper. Let him teach let him teach the people about materialism and riches and the dainties of life, the Osirian field. This is Serpenta Armid speaking, the female goddess, if I'm not mistaken. She said, yeah, go ahead. Let them build. Let them build temples. Let them build edifices, temples, oracle houses. Let him build system, order, false god, deity worship. Let him do it. Let him go. Free. You're free. You know, the young man, he goes out. He's free. He's in the world. He's no more dependent on the house. He moved out. He's got all kind of, he's his own man. And he thinks he knows everything. Same thing in this verse right here. False gods take their power, run with it, think you know everything, think you can do better than the creator. But your kingdom is misery and death. Misery and death, man. And the creator, he lets you know he's now bringing it out. What the agenda is, what the agenda has always been. False gods to glorify himself. It says, Let him who is falsely crowned Osiris build in the Osirian field, and him who is proclaimed deist build in the Haden field. For the time shall come when these testimonies shall be required in the sum of the earth and heaven. For I will show them that without an all highest person there shall no resurrection for angels or men. Regarding which the 10 billion who are slaughtered and bound by the Lord God shall swear in constant to follow all things except me. That's what's going on right now. Faith is declaring the fall of all other kingdoms except for Jehovah. Going on right now. The earth nears her greatest corporal growth, and these self-assuming gods through their, you know what? The OAHSPE just won't get off of false gods. He don't get off of them. Maybe only briefly. It says the earth nears her greatest corporal growth, and these self-assuming gods through their mortal emissaries showing the greatest divisions of earth, built monuments, temples, pyramids, oracle palaces, which shall stand thousands of years as testimonies of the audacity of gods and saviors to honor, whom the Lord God has sworn to make angels and men suppliant slaves in heaven and earth. This is like reading today's newspaper. This is the system where we live. Men are suppliant angels, are suppliant slaves in heaven and earth. That's our system. The Creator, he is redundant to the max about where we live and our nature of reality. You know, let me say, this is the type of channel, man, where if you are sick and tired of hearing about righteousness and our personal responsibility while we're in this reality, it's probably not a good channel for you. Because that's about all. I mean, the OAHSPE is pretty redundant once you go through it pretty good. But it's like, it's always like, has a new effect on you. Even though it is really the same thing over and over again. The Creator is he emphasizes that the only way to the resurrection, one of the main things, is our relationship to our brethren, the condition of our soul, if we minded to want to serve our brethren with our highest light. It's the same thing over and over again. Redundant. Put different ways. In the OAHSPE, that's the main thing. You want to resurrect, you're going to have to learn to be as selfless as you can and pathetic as you can with your brethren. It's all about otherwise minded, not stuck in analysis, paralysis of yourself. Always wondering, thinking about yourself to the exclusion of how you might be a light and blessing to those around you. The Lord God has sworn to make angels and men suppliant slaves in heaven and earth. That's why I was asking earlier, what type of God do you think you'll be? What type of God do you think that you will be? That's a good question, ain't it? It should be. What type will we be subject? What if the Creator says, okay, I'll give you enough time to elevate? Now, it's time for you. It's showtime for you. You see that planet over there? You see that planet? You're going to run it. See? Now, what type of God or goddess would you be? You ever ask yourself that type of stuff? And from what I can understand, the time that our reality is our best shot at shaping our character for the spiritual realm. There's an interesting account in the OAHSPE. I don't know if you brother remember it, where it says that the child that she bears will be the resemblance of the man that she is engaged in relations with in her heart at that time. That's interesting, ain't it? Y'all remember reading that? Where it talks about the mystery of creation in that way. And it uses the woman. It says that whoever she is engaged in relations with, who the fruit of her womb is going to resemble the man that is in her heart, even though she's engaged in relations with another man. The progeny will resemble the spirit that she has in her soul. That's amazing, ain't it? See what we can draw from that. Same way in the spirit for eternity. We read the OAHSPE, we get it down in our spirit, we let it do its work. We desire to turn from what's a good word for, when you self-focus, when you are only thinking about yourself, to selflessness. We get those things, we consider those things, we meditate on them things, and those are described as beautiful thoughts. And then they manifest in the spiritual. Hey, Dave. Good to see you, brother. I got to make Eshel an admin. I forgot. I'll make you an admin when I get a chance. Good to see you, Dave. I know that the brother's got another video going on, so I don't think it's going to be much activity on this channel for today. So they're over there getting fed, which is, as long as somebody's getting fed, don't matter to me. I'm going to still do the best I can, but it's good to see you, Dave. Thanks for joining. So, yeah, isn't that interesting, though? Isn't that interesting? We are, let me say it again, because really that was something that just came to me. That's why I shared it. It just came to me to say that, to share that the lesson in the OAHSPE, I forget where it is, where it talks about the woman and her progeny and its result of the man. You could have, I know there are women in this reality who they have relations with, let's use the OAHSPE example. They have relations with their husband, but they have another man in their heart. That's one of the deep mysteries of life. She has another man in her heart, and the child comes out looking not like the father. I mean, sometimes it's valid suspicion. Other times, I would venture to say most times it's not valid, a valid vibration that comes over a man when he accuses his wife like that. But I know it happens. And the Creator is telling us that we would never figure something like that out. And it's the same way in the spirit, man. If your thoughts are tended toward the light, then you can expect your other half, which will be the fruit of your thoughts. If they be beautiful, then she'll be beautiful. That's what it said in the OAHSPE. Y'all remember that account? I can't find it. The person crossed over. He said, "Who are you?" She said, "I'm yours. I'm the fruit of your beautiful thoughts." Now, I don't know about you, but I believe it. Man, I'm sorry, but I believe stuff like that. I believe the Creator. He deals like that. I'm sorry, man, but I believe it. I believe that we're here on the earth. It's a one-time deal. We in the flesh. It's a one-time deal, brother. And you laying the foundation for an eternity. Can't get my mind off of Judgment chapter 31, I think it is. I think about it all the time, man. The Creator, he said that in the first resurrection, you're going to have, and somebody correct me if I'm wrong, man. I can't get that verse out of my mind. He said that you are going, I wish, tell me. He said, you're going to have to do. Oh, hey, Dave, I don't know if he's still in the room, but I wanted to share with you as well that I'm going to check myself into the hospital later this week. And I don't know if you're in the room when I was talking about it. I'm going to share about it on each of my videos this week, just to let brethren know. I don't know if you heard, but I'm going to check myself in. So I don't know what my schedule is going to be next week. I may be admitted into the hospital so they can check me out, and maybe they might not admit me, but when they do admit me, the last couple of times I had to stay in for nearly like a couple of months. So I want to share that with you so you'll know what's going on. And I'm going to put it in the title of a video and make the release date for like next year. And so it'll cover, somebody wants to know what's going on with me. Why don't I have videos up? And at least they'll come to my channel and I'll have the explanation for the title. So I just want to let you know, Dave, that that's what I'm going to be doing. So I should still be able to share in the different rooms, the Facebook rooms, but that is really a deep mystery. We were just talking about the fruit of our thoughts, the fruit of our thoughts. Okay, so you already know about it. Okay, I'm just going to be reminding people because I'm sure that somebody's not going to get the word and they're going to come to my channel and wonder where I'm at and whether I crossed over, And so I want brethren to know that I might be what's a good word for tied up for a while. So just to let everybody know. So here's another verse. The Lord does not make alive any man whom he desires to be killed. Here's another one. And the faithless were also called the chosen people because they chose God, who is Lord over corporal, which is physicality. But the Canaanites, the Druids, were classed as enemies of the Lord because they sacrificed by means of war and death that which Jehovah made alive. And those two peoples have lived on the earth from the first, even to this day. Even to this day. Here's another verse. It says, I declare freedom to all men in Jehovah's name. But with freedom, I also give experience of the lords of earth. Permit, therefore, my prophets on all hands to embellish the pictures of the past in their own way. And to the extent that the picture fortify faith in Jehovah and his works, power and glory. Be circumspect to desire nourishment from them, and rather than destroy that which is given to the name of Jehovah, go and fall to work in like manner to build up his light in your own way. See, Jehovah, he gives you permission to put your own flavor on this word. Follow the commandments, but he doesn't lock you up. The Creator, he don't lock you up. He don't confine you to a template. When you say that you want to share the light, when you want to put your flavor on it, the Creator, he says it's all good. It's all good, When you go about in sincerity and truth, you rarely go wrong. You rarely go wrong, man. And he respects that. That's what it's all about. Now, one thing that, I was sharing earlier about the home care lady that comes through here. She taught me a pretty good lesson, man, a good lesson with a lot of people. And I would venture to say, even faithless, there's little or no conversion. There's little or no conversion. Because the way that you deal with your brethren, I'm telling you, man, the way you deal with your brethren, Actions speak louder than words, and the Creator, he seems to emphasize how you deal with your brother. We even read somewhere where there's a man that does great works, man. He's always out there, and killing the world. And there's a man who's weak in his faith. And the Creator, he said that he chooses that man. Maybe he struggles, he's weak, he's very, very light on works and understanding, And the Creator says, I choose him. And you got to know it has something to do with his vibration runs deep. So far as, his worship of the Creator. His worship runs deep. It's deeper than the eye. Here's another verse. It says, peace and patience to all men, so that you may comprehend my words and bear witness that heaven and earth is every part Jehovah's, and that all men and women are his sons and daughters, worlds without end. Here it says, behold, they have quibbled about words and meaning of words. One says, how much of this came from the Lord? And how much of this came from the prophet? Making mathematicians of themselves on a matter separate from the subject of the righteousness of their own souls, which lies at the bottom of the Creator's desires. See, I know that my words are not very popular because the flavor that I put on the OAHSPE and the worship of the Creator, I emphasize that I think that it's important that we operate in our best interest. We got an opportunity. We in the body. We know what the past, what the present is. We know what the future is. We got the Creator saying, this is a one-time shot. You're in the flesh. You're on the earth. Now, take the ball and run with it, man. Run with it. Run with it with all you got, man. If you can possibly run with it, that means you cannot go wrong when you always trying to seek a way to be a light to your brethren. And your spirit will be your guide. I mean, that's why I know that my words are, because I talk about looking at yourself. You look at yourself and discern yourself. I think that's the spirit the Creator put on me to share. Time for the reading of the word. I turn the magnifying glass on you because that's all that matters in our reality, in the sense that we want to take advantage of the situation we're in right now. We live in a reality where people love to look and point at other people and feast off of their, what's a good word for disadvantages or faults. And people get a kick out of that. I mean, the Hebrew Israelites, when I was with them, they lived off of other people's misfortunes. I picked up on that real early. We live in a world like that. People get off on the misfortunes of other people. They get off on that. Why? Because it helped you to forget yourself and your faults. See, that's what the Creator is saying right here. He's saying, you're very, very diligent to know about what this prophet said, You're very diligent, man, and meticulous when it comes to pointing out other people's shortcomings. But the Creator says, but the thing that's most important to him is the subject of the righteousness of your own soul. See, he says that lies at the bottom of God's desires. You, yourself. What's most important is that we sculpt our own eternity, reality. We got the chance to do it right now. We got the chance, man. Even though I'm heavily afflicted, I know that it's a one-time deal. I know it has to be this way. Creator, he says that our affliction, our vexation, it serves a eternal purpose. I believe that. I believe that type of stuff, man. I really do believe it. And when you do believe that, then it helps you to make your walk a lot easier if you're in the same situation as I am, or if you're enduring any kind of trial or temptation. If you just keep it in mind that the Creator is doing a work on you, and you may not see it yet, but you will, and you know you'll jump and shout if you let him have his way. But because of the darkness of man's soul, he sets himself up to mock the words of his Lord, saying, how can I become a Lord or a God? Behold, his word has not been heard. None have written his speech. Was it not so in all times on the earth? And because of this darkness among men, they have laid bare the iniquity of their own hearts. For out of the mouths of my chosen, who utter words, come words. For out of the mouths of my chosen, who utter my words, come words of truth, love, wisdom, kindness, and the exaltation of virtue. But from those who deny me come corruption, war, avarice, and the love of earthly things for self's sake. Isn't the Creator clear? Is he not clear as day and night, man? He's clear. The separation, what is righteous of what he commends and what he condemns. So here's some more verses. Time for the reading of the word. I'm a little late, so let me just go ahead and scroll it. And then you can stop the video. You can read, catch up that way. Let me just do a couple more videos. And I'm going to be reading. The name of the video is The Seed and Inheritance Everything. And I might not be able to get to that part in the first book, the Lord's first book, or the first book, Lord's, or I forget what it's called. But that's what I based the title of the video off of. Basically, the Creator is showing you. He tells you, makes the point that all things belong to the seed. I love what he said about the seed. Matter of fact, I may come across it in the reading where it said that the person asked Creator, he said, well, the knowledge is important. Knowledge is important. And if you don't have it, you can't ascend. And then the Creator said, knowledge, he said, because he was talking about infants that die in infancy, not being able to experience the corporal world, therefore not having the knowledge of the corporeality that would be beneficial to them. And then the other person mistook what Jehovah said. He said, so you need knowledge in order to sin. And then the Creator said, the seed inherits everything. It is the seed. It is not knowledge. So again, stop the video. I'm trying to just do a couple more. And then you can just stop the video and read it yourself. Okay, that's it. I'm late. All right, let's go for the reading. A little late for the reading. Let me increase the word lettering a little bit. And let's make sure I'm sharing it, because Dave will ding me if I don't hit this button right here that says share this tab. I got to stretch the screen first. Dave put last time, share the tab times 10. The other video. He gave himself 10 points, man. For Hey, Jamia, how you doing? Good to see you, Jamia. Good to see you. Good to see you, sis. Good to see you. All right, time for the reading of the word. The name of the video is The Seed Inherits Everything. Man, if the world knew that, if they believed it, the seed inherits everything. The seed inherits everything. And we can't even imagine what everything is, but we know it's real. The Lord's first book, may the Creator bless the reading of his word. The subtitle says, being contemporaneous with the book of Ob, son of Jehovah. As the ladder is of heaven, so is the Lord's book of the earth. History of the flood. Hear me, O man, I am the Lord, the God of earth, son of Jehovah. I am one of your elder brothers. I, your Lord, with my brother lords and gods, in the name of Jehovah, speak, saying, peace and patience to all men, so that you may comprehend my words and bear witness that heaven and earth and every part is Jehovah's, and that all men and women are his sons and daughters, worlds without end. As over mortal kingdoms, there are kings, as over empires, emperors, as over armies, generals, so has Jehovah in his heavens crowned certain chieftains for times and places, and given them certain names by which they have been proclaimed to men and angels, so that the discipline of heavens could manifest the glory and dominion of Jehovah. In all time, honored in high heaven and known to the people of the earth as Jehovah's Lord, commander of heavenly light on earth and pacificator between all light and all darkness, entitled Lord of earth and Lord God. So have I and my predecessors and my successors have been handed down for thousands of years among mortals. Let me read that again. I didn't read it right. It says, in all time, honored in high heaven and known to the people on the earth as Jehovah's Lord, commander of heavenly light on earth, and pacificator between all light and all darkness, entitled Lord of earth and Lord God, so have I and my predecessors and my successors been handed down for thousands of years among mortals. Okay, so a succession of power under the name Lord God, Lord of the earth. It says, so when it was said, the king said thus, and then after generations, if it is said the king says thus, all men know it was not the same man, but was nevertheless the king. So I, the Lord, also proclaim the same thing of both my predecessors and my successors. For all of them were and have been the Lord. So many gods and many lords, for which reason I, the Lord, by virtue of my own authority and in Jehovah's name, proclaim the light and the darkness of the past. And as I have been exalted by the Father, so too are you all, and waiting for your turn in the heavens above to become lords and gods and goddesses. I posted that in the rooms last night. If you can't shout after hearing this, you're dead. You just flat out dead, man. If you could read something like this and you don't get no reaction, we got a big fat problem here. Look at that. Chew on that for a second, man. Verse 6, for which reason I, the Lord, by virtue of my own authority and in Jehovah's name, proclaim the light and the darkness of the past. And as I've been exalted by the Father, so too are you all in wait. We are all in waiting. How do you like that? Can you believe that? It says you are all in waiting for your turn in the heavens. You're waiting for your turn in the heavens above. Come look at that. Lords and gods and goddesses. How do you like that? Can you believe that? See, that's why I was asking earlier in the video, what type of god or goddess would you be? Because we see how the Creator, he's showing us the outcome of either one. You know, righteous gods reside in nirvana, and the unrighteous God, they had to be restored and continue on their ascension. The Creator, he doesn't let anybody, he doesn't. Now, I have read where the Creator, he does at some point, now y'all correct me if I'm wrong, where he gives up, he lets a mortal go to their own will. I mean, y'all remember that part? They go to school, they learn all sorts of things, and then they make a decision whether they can subscribe and believe in the Creator. And if at the end of all that, you still want to remain in your ignorance, it's like the Creator said, okay, let them go. We did everything we could for them. We taught them a skill. We taught them secrets, how to make light, darkness. We taught them how to general labor. We taught them manufacturing. We taught them measuring. We taught them nursery. He still can't subscribe to the creator. Okay, make him a wandering spirit. Let him go. Let him be a wandering spirit, and then here come a Druge. A Druge will come and snatch him up. Hey, man. Come on, man. Go with me. Let's go to the earth, man. I know a club, I know the club. I know the perfect club for me. And, I'm just trying to, thanks, Jamia. Yeah, you remember that? I'm just embellishing in order so that we may get a picture of what comes afterwards. Wow, the creator is something else. And he does all that for you to try to redeem you and get you to ascend in your spirit. And he actually says that I hope it's not a lot, but they turn away. They turn away. No, I don't believe in any creator. There is something in the OAHSPE where it says that they deny me on earth and they deny me in heaven. He does all that, man. What did Dave say? He gives you like 78 years of schooling. You want to go your own way after that? He lets you. Do you know the creator lets you? See, think about, let me digress for a second, brethren. Now, think about this when you feeling blue, when you don't feel like you don't want to go on in the faith, you get depressed. And I trust many of you don't, I admit I do. I have a lot of blue days, mainly because of my afflicted body. It gets in my way. You know what I mean? But the creator, I don't know how to describe it, man. He what's a good word for fills you up? It's just that when you're in the body, you're subject to you know what I mean? You're subject to the sensitivity, the stimuli it gives you, and it can throw you off spiritual track from time to time. But a couple of things, that we live in temporariness. And I don't hate to say it, man, but what the creator got to say for faith it just knocks me out. It just knocks me, it knocks me out, man. Talking to people and you want to give glory to the creator, and they can't hear it. They don't want to hear it. And they caught in the Osirian fields or the Hayden fields, like we were discussing earlier. Materialism, or you stuck in the first resurrection. The temporariness of all things. We're in a really strange place when it comes to being able, so far as relatability wise, but I digress. You brethren already know. Let me continue on. Verse 7, it says, to draw your soul. Let me read this again. Verse 6, for which reason I, the Lord, by virtue of my own authority and in Joey's name, proclaim the light and the darkness of the past. And as I have been exalted by the Father, look here, I got to say it again. So too are you all in waiting for your turn in the heavens. Boy, oh boy, oh boy, man, listen to this. It says, so too are you all in waiting for your turn in the heavens above to become lords and gods and goddesses. I can't get over that. I'm sorry, man. I just, that'll carry you for a good 6 months. Just if you remember that one verse, Dave says, the ones that deny creator usually create their own version of the highest heaven, which is actually the lowest. Interesting. That's very interesting. That sounds like the false gods to me. They tell their subjects, I'm the highest. You are in the highest kingdom. What are you talking about? I'm here, ain't I? Look over there. I got a merry-go-round for you over there. What more could you want? Tell me that ain't living. Big old merry-go-round over there. You know what I mean? Over there is some caramel popcorn. Are you kidding, man? It don't get no better than this. Now, I'm being facetious, but you know good and well that's the flavor of the OAHSPE. They can't go no higher than what they can imagine, if I'm not mistaken. That's what it's saying. Wow, man. Wow. See, that's what I was sharing with the house care lady. She said, so what is it all about? You know, just tell me what it's all about. I said, it's about eternity. It's about, I said, if you believe that we don't live forever, then you ought to start asking some questions. You know, you ought to start wondering. You ought to start looking and listening, you know, is what I was telling her. You know, I said, I belong to a group of people who have it in their spirit to consider their final end, which is no final end, you know what I mean? But I just shared that I belong to a group of people who, for some reason, they believe in the Creator. You know, ain't really no reason behind it, you know. They just believe, you know, and they can hear his voice. And poor lady, she couldn't. She's an enigma. She got her own mind, but it don't interest her, you know. She's more interested in working 80 hours a week. And then you go home on the weekend and you still got to work. You know, you got to come home. You know what I mean? I don't have to tell you, brother. Let me keep reading. It says, verse 7, it says, to draw your souls up in heavenly aspirations, to become one with the Father in righteousness and good works, Jehovah sends his sons and daughters down to the earth, revealing the glory of his kingdoms in the ethereal worlds. But because of the darkness of man's soul, he sets himself up to mock the words of the Lord, saying, how can I, a Lord or a God, behold his word? Behold, his word has not been heard. None have written his speech. Was it not so in all times on earth? And because of this darkness among men, they have laid bare the iniquity of their own hearts. See? Because of this darkness among men, they have laid bare. They show their corruption because of this darkness, the darkness you under. For out of the mouths of my chosen who utter my words come words of truth, love, wisdom, kindness, and the exaltation of virtue. But from those who deny me come corruption, war, avarice, and love of earthly things for self's sake, greed, covetousness, insatiable praying. See, that's where we live. That is the souls of men, and I just can't get over it. I ain't trying to sound like I'm all great. I just happen to think as you grow older and you've been beat up in life and you've been around the block and you no longer subscribe to that carrot on the stick approach, you know, you no longer subscribe to that house on the hill, you know, I mean, you know what I mean? You know, pipe dreams. I would think that the way would be open for the Creator to fill that void, but it ain't the same with me and you. Not everybody is going to be a faithist. It's just that plain and simple. And not everybody's going to be a faithist. We just got to get used to it, man. You know, love of earthly things for self's sake. Behold, they have quibbled about words and the meaning of words. One says, how much of this came from the Lord? How much of this came from the prophet? I read this earlier. This is what I posted in my room. Behold, they have quibbled about words and the meaning of words. One says, how much of this came from the Lord? How much of this from the prophet? Where did you get that from? What's your source? Where to manifest? When did this come out? As if that mattered. Like if you can answer those questions, then the person is going to repent. Making mathematics of themselves on a matter separate from the subject of the righteousness of their own souls, which lies at the bottom of God's desires. You see, you stay away from what the Creator is really after. That's your own soul, your own heart. See, you stay away from that subject. We don't want to talk about that. You don't want the spotlight on you. Verse 11, it says, Are not all words at best merely pictures and paintings? For the spirit who finds them, and whether the captain, lord, or his private angel carry the light to the prophet. What does it matter to the man or woman who seeks to serve Jehovah by doing good work? See? Don't matter to faithists. They don't care who gives them the word. The important thing is to get it. Don't matter who gets the credit. It shouldn't matter. Some have said, behold, I've given all I had to the poor. I rise early, I visit the sick, and the night I sit up with them. I gather up orphans and helpless ones and make them so joyous of heart. They thank Jehovah. They are created into light. Now, truly, all men know that such behavior comes from those who recognize my word, whether it comes from the mouth of a babe or the pen of a fool. Who then shall not find delight in the word of the Lord? Do they not know that I am the same today, yesterday, and forever? And in judgment, why will they not perceive that my word comes now as well as in ancient times? Behold, I am not for one man only, nor for one woman, nor for one book, but wherever the light of wisdom and the desire for virtue and holy deeds shine, there my speech will manifest. Is Jehovah not wide as the universe and immutable? Immutable means unchanging, permanent, persistent, stable, durable, certain. Is that not Jehovah? Jehovah not wide as the universe and immutable, and to be in harmony with him is this not the sum of all wisdom? Therefore, if your Lord or your God has attained to be one with the Father, and he comes in dominion on the earth with his millions of angels who also know the higher light, and you aren't inspired by them to do Jehovah's will, what discussion shall man have against heaven or its representatives? I declare freedom to all men in Jehovah's name, but with freedom I also give the experience of the lords of earth. Permit therefore my prophets on all hands to embellish the pictures of the past in their own way, and to the extent that the pictures fortify faith in Jehovah and his works, power, and glory. Be circumspect to desire nourishment from them, and rather than destroy that which is given in the name of Jehovah, go and fall to work in like manner to build up his light in your own way. That's a special kind of freedom. Creator, he says, okay, all that's required is you go about sincerity and truth, take the knowledge that you have and share it, you can put your own flavor on it. You don't have to become a robot. Share your heart. People they'll pick up on that. They'll see people, they judge that type of thing. They look at a person's, they try to size them up to test his sincerity, his character. Well, at least I do, I try to look to see if a person is sincere, or do they want to be magnified in my eyesight? Do you want credit? Do you want to be, you know what I mean? I look for that. And then that helps me to decide how I treat what somebody says, whether, what type of weight to give their words. That's just me. People are different. It says, and this is wisdom. For those who strive for the light of my dominion shall receive my angels in my name. And by the words they find to express my commandments, they shall be known of me. All words come from the Lord your God. By him man was made upright on the earth as the first race, Asu. As the first race, Asu went down into the earth. The second man rose up by my angels, becoming like lords and gods, capable of knowing and good and evil. But as the light of a full-grown man differs from that of a child, so in different degree was the light of men. And those with the higher light were called Theists, because they perceived that wisdom shaped all things and ruled to the ultimate glory of the All One. But those of the lesser light were called Cain, the Drew, because their trust was more in the corporeal than in the spiritual. That's a terrible thing, man. That's a terrible, terrible thing, man. You can see it easily. The pull of the world. It's a strong pull where you really the things of the earth, the shiny metal, the big wallet, the house on the hill. It's not wrong to have those things, but it's like, don't people go after those things to the exclusivity, the exclusion of the spirit? Dave says, high or low, all Theists give all the glory to the Creator for whatever they accomplish. Yeah, I love what Jesus Christ said. I do love it, man. He said, what do you have that you haven't been given? He said, what do you have that you haven't been given? Then why do you boast as if you had not received it? Now, that's the picture of Jesus Christ in wisdom. That was a picture of the wisdom of Jesus Christ. I love that, man. Why do you boast, man? Why? As if you hadn't been given it. And if you've been given what you have, then why do you boast? As if you had not received it. And the Theists were also called the chosen people because they chose God, who is Lord over corporal. But see, I had to stop, man. You can suffer anything, man, when that's in your heart. I have to testify to that. I'm afflicted. I'm heavily afflicted, man. And I know I'm not the only one, but all I can do is share what I know in my heart. When you get this type of assurance, you cannot be stopped. I'm telling you the truth, man. I'm sorry. You just cannot be stopped, man. To me, that's the glory of older age, man. You've been around the block when you're young. You still got a lot of questions in your mind. I'm not, I don't want to sound like I'm, degrading youthfulness. I'm not doing that. I'm just saying that even when you read the Bible, it talks about the gray head, the hoary head, and how wisdom is precious to be had. Because you look around and let's be honest, man, you Theists. You wouldn't want to be in the shoes of the Uzians. Although I think better things will come of the Uzians. I think that you can pay the Creator. Well, see, he's got to do it. He's got to put the seed and then germinate it in you. I think it's just now is our time to be Theists, to begin our journey. Some brethren, they have to begin their journey after corporality, physicality, from what I can see. I don't know. I could be wrong. That's what I see. And the faithless were also called the chosen people because they chose God, who was Lord over corporal, but the Canaanites and drugs were classed as enemies of the Lord because they sacrificed by means of war and death that which Jehovah made alive. And these two peoples have lived on the earth from the first even to this day. And I, the Lord, son of Jehovah, gave a certain commandment to man, saying, you shall love the Lord your God with all your soul, your wisdom and strength. But man had little strength in this matter. Neither did I ask for more than he could give. And another commandment was, you shall not kill, which you shall not kill that which if man had obeyed, which had man obeyed, there would have been no war in the world. Let me digress for 1 second. Do you brother know that Israel is starting up now with Lebanon and Egypt? Did you know that? I'm talking about conflagration. Now, what happens on the earth, I know. I mean, I don't want to say that faithists don't care. But I'm telling you that we in a situation that we are due to see some big, big changes. Verse 22, in like manner, I gave the light of heaven to all men, but my enemies perverted my words in order to justify themselves in sin. They perverted my words. Yet the Father so dwells in man that man can judge of truth and holiness. See, that's the secret right there. The Father dwells in man that man can judge of truth and holiness. See, we can judge, man. It's like, we can close our eyes and we can close our ears and we still can hear, or we can close our eyes and keep our ears open and still attain to the word, to the voice of the Creator, where it will move us. It'll stir us. We live, but we in a reality, right? I'm just rooting for you, brethren, man. I'm just rooting for all of us, to take advantage of our situation all the way until the end. So if one man says, the Lord said, you shall not kill, and yet another says, the Lord says, you shall kill, then let no man mistake which is of the Lord. Judge, think, discern. For the Lord does not make alive any man whom he desires to be killed. Don't that make sense? That should always make sense. And so my word was perverted by man. And the little light which was not lost, man tried to obscure. Man ain't looking good. He ain't looking good, man. Nevertheless, man multiplied and inhabited the earth over, building cities and nations and prospering in certain seasons and all things earthly. But because my priority in coming to the earth was to develop the soul of man and for his own ultimate happiness in the ethereal worlds, I did not abhor those who did not heed me. I didn't get mad at them. I suffered them to go on in their own conceit. And they became divided against one another, and war and pestilence and diverse diseases came upon mortals, resulting in their further downfall. And the spirits of those who denied me on, there it is, and the spirits of those who denied me on earth still denied me in heaven. Isn't that amazing? And in their stubbornness and conceit continued to dwell with man on the earth, so that in the course of time the world was overrun by spirits of darkness who did not know heaven. And it came to pass that my enemies slew my chosen on all hands. And 4 great divisions of the earth, Bohu, Jew, Duri, and Dis, which is Africa, Asia, Americas, and Europe, they did not leave one alive of the Ihin race. In Waga, Pan, I had a remnant. and they were scattered far and near in separate places, hiding away from their evil pursuers. I said to them, every living thing that grows up out of the ground shall be food for you. But everything within which is the breath of life, which is of blood and spirit, you shall not eat. Whoever sheds blood and which is life, by that action invites his own blood and spirit to the soil, to the spoil. In likeness of God, man was made here of the earth and all things on it. Be fruitful, multiply, bring forth abundantly, in remembrance of the Lord God of heaven and earth. And I gave the circumcision as a measure of the boundary of my chosen. But there were giants, drunks in those days, and time after that, in those days and in time after that, and my chosen came to them, and they bore children to them also, and their flesh became corrupt, so that vermin inhabited them from their birth to their death, and they became rotten in the head and catarrh, and in the throat with ulcers and running sores, and in the lungs and joints with the poison of death. And the offspring that was born to them came forth afflicted with the sins of their fathers and mothers, to linger in misery or die in infancy. And they thus peopled heaven with untimely births and with spirits of darkness, who in return came back and re-afflicted mortals. Look at this cycle of, what's a good word for vexation, perplexity, degeneracy, a cycle of regression, a cycle of, and I said, I will destroy man from the face of the earth, for the flesh of man is corrupt. By the eating of flesh and unwise cohabitation, he has corrupted his race upon the earth. And I, the Lord, called to my chosen who were persecuted and hidden away in the valleys and mountains, even to the tops of the mountains in the land of Waga. And I said to them, because you have kept my commandments, come forth and hear the word of the Lord your God. And they came out of their hiding places, thousands and thousands of them. And I sent my angels to them, saying to my angels, say to my chosen, this is the word of the Lord your God. You have found favor in my sight. For all that are on the earth, you alone have kept my commandments, and you have seen righteousness in the seed of, I've seen righteousness, and you have seen righteousness in the seed of your generations. Go therefore and build enough ships for my chosen, and get within, where none can pursue or destroy. For behold, I will bring a flood of waters upon the earth, even above the highest mountains, for I will destroy its corruption, purge it of all uncleanness. Take therefore food that is good to eat, and gather it in the ships, for the food shall remain 150 days, and you shall come forth and not find anything to eat. And the angels of the Lord went to the faithless, and God inspired them to build ships, both in the valleys and on the mountainsides, or on the mountains. For 2 whole years they built them, and they were completed. And the angels of heaven numbered the ships, and there were 158. And the ships stood on the mountains. 158 ships stood on the mountains and the valleys. But all of the ships that had been built, not one stood near the waters. And the earth stood in the ark of Noe in the firmament of heaven, and the place and grade of 600 in the Aegean roads, 24,000 years before Cosmin. And the Lord commanded the chosen to go into the ships, which they did. And then that same day, the gates of heaven and earth were open. And the earth that was wagging rocked to and fro like a ship at sea, and the rain fell in torrents, and loud thunders came up from beneath the floor of the world. And the sea came up on the land, first upon the valleys, then upon the mountains, so that the ships floated on the waters. But the land was swallowed up. Valleys and mountains and all the living on Waga perished, except the Ihans who floated off in the ships. And the Lord said, I numbered those who were saved, and there were 12,420, and these were all that remained on the first race of man that walked on 2 feet. 12,420. Behold, I will carry them all to divisions of the earth, and people it anew with the seed of my chosen. And Jehovah blew his breath upon the ships of his sons and daughters, blew them about the ocean, blew them to the east, and west and north and south. By the will of God, the ships were congregated into 4 fleets, 34 ships in each fleet, except 2 ships which were carried together in a fleet by themselves. Let me see. Dave says that happened in the Ark of Noe during the reign of Neph. Then Ab came and sank Pan. Verse 48. The Lord said, I will name the fleets of my chosen, and their name shall be everlasting on the earth. And the Lord named them Gautama, Shem, Japheth, Ham, and Yistan. The Lord said, from these my seed, I will gather the people over. I will gather the people. I will people the earth over in all its divisions, and so that latter generations for thousands of years may know the work of my hand. Behold, I have given them a sign, which is my covenant to them and all their hearers forever, which is my crescent in the form of a rainbow. See, you know what? Listen to this stuff, man. You know, the Bible is nothing but plagiarism, man. You know, the only begotten Son of God. Plagiarism. This is plagiarism, man. And those people have made a whole living on plagiarism. Those people over there, those people. Plagiarism, man. The Bible. Amazing, man. You got the rainbow in the Bible. You got the crescent in the OAHSPE. It says, and whatever people bear this, my sign shall be a remembrance of me and my covenant, nor shall they be destroyed from the inheritance that I've given to them. You know, some people, they wear the crescent and tattoos on the, you know. I wonder if it's because of that, or it's saying that they subscribe to the homosexual agenda. I mean, the crescent has been hijacked, you know. And the chosen looked out of their ships. The sky was clearing, and a rainbow shone in the firmament, and by its light the land was found where the Lord brought his people. And in 150 days from the beginning of the flood, the ships were brought into their respective places, for as the Lord destined them, so did they land in different countries of the world. The fleet named Gautama was carried eastward, and the country where it landed was also called Gautama. The Lord said, from this place my chosen shall spread out north, south, but they shall not inhabit the lands to the east or west as far as the sea. For they shall be testimony in time to come of this landing place from the continent of Pan. So here's a footnote. God said, permit my people to give names to the places where I lead them, for these names shall show in the cosmic era the work of my hand done in this day. The fleet of 2 ships carried to the north was named Yista, which was in the Waga tongue was Zapan, which is the same country that to this day is called Japan, signifying relic of the continent of Pan. How do you like that? I never knew that. I love it. Thank you, Creator. Thank you. I did not know that. Japan means relic of the continent of Pan. Zapan is Japan. And the Lord said to them, behold, 8 Haidan shall come and pass in that day. You shall be like a key to unlock the labors of heaven for of all people you shall be reckoned the oldest in the world. Until I come and unlock the sea, you shall remain exclusive people from all tribes and nations. Now, when he says unlock the sea, now what does he mean? He means when they begin to do I think when they began to do trade with the world, I think that's what he means by unlocking the sea. He said, "Till then, you shall remain an exclusive people from all tribes and nations." When did Japan stop being an exclusive nation? 1905. When did Japan become non-isolated? This became known as Japan's Edo period, and the borders remained closed for almost 3 centuries until 1868. This allowed the country's unique culture, customs, and ways of life to flourish in isolation, much of which was recorded in art forms that remain alive today. 1868, the sea was unlocked. In 1868. And the Lord said to them, "Behold, 8 high lands shall come to pass in that day. You shall be like a key to unlock the labors of heaven, for all people you shall be reckoned the oldest in the world," the Japanese. We shared a tab, man. Who are the oldest people in the world? Who are the oldest people in the world? Japan! No, that's the oldest living person. Who are the oldest people on earth? Keeps giving me the oldest living person. Who are the oldest people and nation on earth? The Egyptians. See, it won't get off of it. China. No. I don't know. Can't look at it right now. Time for the end of the video, but I take the creator's word for it. Take the creator's word for it. That's interesting. And the Lord said to them, "Behold, 8 Haidan shall come and pass." Haidan. So what is a Haidan? Because he said 8 shall come and pass. And in that day you should be like a key. Talking to the Japanese. You shall be like a key to unlock the labors of heaven. For of all people you shall be reckoned as the oldest in the world. Until I come and unlock the sea, you shall remain exclusive people from all the tribes and nations. Now, China, they were an exclusive people until President Nixon opened their doors for trade, right? Let's read the footnote. The footnote says, "It is true that the Japanese did remain an exclusive people until the dawn of Cosmin." That was 1848. It is true that the Japanese did remain an exclusive people until the dawn of Cosmin, and that their belief is firm to this day, that they are the oldest nation in all the world. The English word ark is hak in both Japanese and Chinese, especially in the rural parts. Noi is Japanese for Lord. Noichi is Chinese for spirit. Ark is Hebrew and signifies a box, but more particularly a preserving box. Among the Phoenicians, anything that was sacred was engraved with an ark on the front. Ships. For it was supposed to flatter the spirits who attended them, as much as to say, "You are archangels." It Isn't that wonderful that the Japanese ports were opened by Americans in the beginning of Kaufman without war? Japanese ports were opened by Americans. You gotta love the OAHSPE, man. You gotta love it. Yes, the United States opened ports in Japan through a series of treaties and negotiations with Japanese officials. Look at that, in 1854, right around the beginning of Kaufman, the Treaty of Kanagawa. Just like the OAHSPE says, just like the Creator says, man, he can be trusted. The Creator can be trusted, man, you know? The Creator. Japanese ports were opened by Americans in the beginning of Kaufman and without war. Following in effect the manifestations of the spirits in America, as was prophesied in 1950, and the mark of the faithful is still with them. The Japanese. Oh man, I can stop right there. Pick it up next time, Creator willing. Man, oh man, this is very addictive, man. This is the Creator showing himself. See, the Bible cannot speak contemporaneously like this. This is strictly the Creator glorifying himself. Wow, thank you. All right, well, I'm going to put the link in the chat. I think that most brothers are probably still over watching the other brother's video. So, looks like it'll be a short night tonight. That's all right, you know. As long as the video gets put up, you know, brother can check in any old time. So there's a link and see if anybody wants to say or share anything. Man, that's something else. The Creator, you know. James Clovell, Shogun. Is that like a movie too? I think it's like a movie too, Shogun, isn't that? What will it say? Will it talk about the Vedas customs of the Japanese? Are them the oldest culture? Are the opening of their ports? That was really something, man, the Creator. He's saying it right there in his word. The Bible doesn't do that. No other works do that. Talked about the Constitution, talked about the Emancipation Proclamation. It's a terrible shame what's being done to and you can't get people off of it. That's what I was sharing earlier. It might not mean nothing to you, brethren, but it's something I constantly notice that's the effect that false gods, that is the vibration that is on religion. That's the vibration that's on religion. And I recall somewhere reading or somebody saying that if you don't get it here, you won't get it there. Now, I know that's wrong. I don't know who said that, but I do recall somebody somewhere reading that. If you don't get it here, you won't get it there. But that can't be true, because isn't it true that all people must eventually ascend? If I understand that correctly, let me see. Dave said that book talks about Portuguese and English before America opened up Japan. Oh, okay. What about Portuguese and English? How do they figure? Again, let me go ahead and share with you, brethren, that I'm going to be checking myself into the hospital more likely probably Friday. So I don't think I'll be doing a video Friday. I think they may end up keeping me to check me out and that sort of thing. And usually, sometimes I go in. I've been putting something off, and I believe that I'm able to receive whatever they throw at me now. So I look. I think Friday I'm gonna go ahead and check in with the VA, and I think I'll probably end up getting admitted, and so I'll be down for I don't know how long, and I imagine I'll still be able to share in the rooms, but the videos I may be down for a while just to let you brother know. So let me see. Dave says, "Yep, Shogun is a movie and a book. The movie's based on a book." Oh, okay, I know I heard about that. I didn't know what it was all about though. Isn't the OAHSPE amazing, man? He's just amazing. What is it? Kapan or something, or it's really Japan, and it means portion of pan or waga. Isn't that nice, man? Boy, that's nice. What about what we read earlier in verse 6? At some point, man, it's going to be your turn to be gods and goddesses. It said it clearly, man. Verse 6 of the first Bible or first book of Lord or what we read. It will be your turn. Your turn, man. Can you think of that? Can you think of that? And I can't remember where I read that, where it talked about if you won't. I don't know where I read that, but I remember reading where it said, if you don't get the light here, you won't get it there. You won't get it there, man. I don't know if I believe that. And even right now, it makes me remember what the OAHSPE said about people can become wandering spirits. You can go through all of that 78 years, Dave. 78 years of training, man, and still deny the all high. And basically they just say, hey, we just make you, go, you can go your way, man. You can be a wandering spirit if that's what you want. You can just go be a wandering spirit. And then the drooks come along. Oh, man, can you imagine? Well, that's the best I can do for right now, brethren. That's the best I can do for right now. Man, that was one hell of a read. That was just beautiful. Thank you, Creator. All right, so shoot, man. Good time. Good time is ending. Go ahead, close the video. Want to give thanks to the Creator for this opportunity. Hope that I can have a quick in and out with the hospital, so I can continue doing these videos. I can't think of anything better. Love to do these videos, man. Love to do them. Thank you, brethren, for the fellowship. Want to give thanks to the Creator for this opportunity to be a light while I'm in this reality. Thank you for you, brethren, joining me. So tomorrow, same bat time, same bat place, same bat channel. So thank you again joining me. And give thanks to the Creator, brethren. And until I see you again on video, peace be unto you. Shalom.